Hello everybody, Tim with timscomputerfix.net. In this video, I have been greeted with a customer who brought in this nice Lenovo ThinkPad. This is one of the kind of newer models. I just love the Lenovo ThinkPad series. Yeah, I've owned one for my business forever. It seems like almost, I don't know, 8 years, and I mean, SSD upgrade and everything, it works great for my business. I've even dropped it a few times, still just keeps on going. This is one of the newer models. This is the w541 ThinkPad series from Lenovo. What's going on with this is the laptop is overheating, basically. And this just started suddenly, but I mean, at idle, this guy's running at 50 C, and then you open a browser and it's running almost at 100 C. So, and that's it. So, and there's no airflow coming from the fan area, which is here. No airflow at all, but you can feel the heat where the heat sink is here. So we're going to explore this. I figured I'd fire up the camera. Let's take a look at how to disassemble one of these newer model Lenovo ThinkPads. So basically we just start off by removing the battery. That's all self-explanatory. That comes off there. There's 2 screws on this back panel that you undo, and this comes up and comes off. And then here we have, that exposes the 2 RAM sticks here, and also exposes where the hard drive is. And we're going to take out this 1 screw to get this hard drive out. Set that screw aside, and then you have to lift up on the caddy and then pull out, and that removes your drive. And actually this is a 256 gig SSD drive that he's using here. And I am just going to put this screw back into this little slot here. Cool. How about this to remove the CD drive, which, by the way, this still has a CD drive. There is a small screw here that we will remove. And where that screw was, that's just basically the connection to that secures the CD drive into place. You just want to push that out, and that kind of slides the CD-ROM drive out. So we'll remove that. So there's another door here. Let's remove it. Have a look at what we got underneath there. So that exposes your CMOS battery, Bluetooth, and your Wi-Fi cards right there, your antenna cables. Chances are we're going to have to remove those also, since the cables are routed onto the case, which we're going to have to remove this entire case to get to. So let's just remove that card. So with this, our next step here would be to have to remove the keyboard. And this is a little different for what we're used to about seeing removing keyboards from a laptop. So if you notice right here, there are little grooves. There's one here, there's one there, there's another one here. So what we're going to be pushing up on that this way, and that's going to slide forward. This is the keyboard frame, they're calling it. We'll call it the keyboard frame, and we'll just push using something plastic that won't scratch. We'll push that forward in all these areas. And as you can see, the whole keyboard frame moves up, and that exposes the keyboard screws that we will need to remove. Now how about that for something different? Now take our screwdriver, and we are now able to remove these screws, or at least loosen them up. Looks like there's 4 of them, 5 of them. Now we should be able to lift up on the keyboard, and that comes right out like so. Wow. Okay, that exposes the two ribbon cables that we'll have to remove. Okay, flip those up. These come right out like so. There we go. Okay, so our next step is to remove what we're calling here the keyboard bezel assembly. And in order to remove this, we must first remove some screws on the bottom of the laptop, except for the hinge area screws here that I'm pointing to. So let's just get that started. We flip the laptop back over, open it up, and we are going to have to remove this one ribbon cable here. And okay, we're just going to kind of unsnap this bezel gently. As usual, we don't force anything. If something doesn't feel like it's going to come apart, we stop. Now, what you want to do is be very careful when doing this, because you don't want to pull up too hard right here. There are ribbon cables under here that go to these devices and this touchpad. So we just want to get them loose. Okay, so now we got the entire palm rest area here, and we're just going to flip it back like this. And like I said, that exposes ribbon cables and such that go to these other devices. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and just remove these ribbon cables so we can get this keyboard bezel assembly out of our way. And there's that one. So now we can set this aside and out of our way. Here's our fan. We can see it. We have to gain access to it. And the only way to gain access to it is to remove this entire top magnesium shield here. And we have those antenna cables that are all routed through there and such. So we're going to close the laptop up, flip it over. And now, a couple of things. We need to take out these two hinge screws, this one and this one, and then hiding from us for aesthetic purposes, I would imagine, are screws that are hidden underneath here. Kind of wedge down in there and pull those guys out. Don't lose these. There we go with that one. Pull that up. Now this type of stuff here is typical of Lenovo's ThinkPads, where they hide screws on the back side of the hinge area here. All right, now the dreaded part, the part that I dread, is having to deroute these cables. The black and the blue go through this hole. The gray and the orange go through this hole. Okay, at this point we will turn the laptop back over. We have to remove this ribbon cable here. Flip that up and remove that cable. Here is the gray and the orange antenna cables. This is always fun. We will have to deroute. And in this case, we can just kind of flip this up a little bit so we can have a look at the cables on the underneath also. Come on. There's the orange. The blue and the black that come up through here also. Got some tape here we can remove. And continue to deroute these guys. And we can deroute the rest of the antenna wires. And I think we're going to have to pull them out from underneath these clips here also. Those clips just bend up. We can push these out like so. And those will be fun to go back into place when we go to reassemble this laptop. Only thing left to do here is we're going to take off these two screws. There's one here. There's a hinge screw up here. And then there's the other hinge screw over here. All right, and we can slowly lift. And now our display is free. And now we're free to work with this magnesium board here. We've got 3 screws that line the top right up here. We're going to go ahead and remove those. Okay, then we got 1 screw that's kind of down in this divot down here. That is a longer screw. Then we have 2 more screws down this way. This is a longer screw. And there's another screw here that comes out. That's also a longer screw. But I'll also mark it with my own tape. These 2 screws down here on the bottom, I'll try to get those in the camera range here first. This one. That is definitely a special screw because it's got some black screws. It's different than the others screwed out on this corner. These 2 screws are different. Oh, and we have this one ribbon cable down here that we have to, this is for the speakers. We will get that unplugged like so, right here. And this is where your safety, I forget what they call that. Okay. Okay, and the last 2 things you really don't want to forget are 2 screws that go right here. They don't look like much, but trust me, if you don't take those out, you will not get this board out. Okay? Now your magnesium board should come right out, no problem. There you go. See if I can work this out. There we are. There we are. Okay, and the whole motherboard and components are attached to that. We're going to go ahead and order a new fan for this and get this thing repaired. So as soon as I identify this fan, I'll let you know. We'll get it ordered and we'll go from there. Well, we're going to have to go ahead and remove these 2 heat sinks along with the fan in order to gain access to the fan itself. We have all of these screws. We'll loosen all of them in a crisscross fashion. Come on up on this. And now we can get to the system fan. We'll unplug that. Okay. Once that's done, and oh, look at there, we have stickers and we have ways of identifying the fan and possibly ordering another one. Okay, so let's source this out. I'll get another fan in and then we'll put this back together. Okay, we are several days later, but we're back. And our new heatsink and fan has arrived. This does match up with the old one. We'll just get this all cleaned up and tidy. And our new heatsink has thermal material already added. Okay, as you can see here, I've gotten the graphics chip and the processor nice and clean. So we're going to take our new heatsink here. And this new heatsink comes with its own thermal material, as you can see. Come on, baby, get me on here now. It gives. And then we'll, of course, use crisscross method to tighten down the screws. And you got everything tightened down nicely. You're going to check make sure the fan spins freely, and it does. So that's that. Let's go ahead and get our power to the fan plugged back in here. Okay, the fan is plugged in. I'm just going to bend these wires around and kind of tuck them down to where they kind of stay out of the way. Now we're going to put our magnesium assembly here back into its shell. Let's see, that went in nicely. Everything should fit together like a puzzle. And that fits back down into the casing quite well. We'll start off with these, I labeled these B for black. These are the bigger screws. Get those in. Okay. Like that. That's for our locking mechanism. All right, and let's not forget down here is our speaker cable that we have to plug back in. All right, I can go ahead and remove some of this tape that I put down for marking. So our next part to install would be the display unit. So we have a couple of nubs here on each end where the hinges are that fit right into the slots on the top here. So, okay, I'm holding this with one hand while I secure this display into place. All right, and as you can see, got our cables that are just ready to be rerouted as they were before. Just a couple of tabs here that goes under. In. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Then we'll keep everything kind of en route here. Okay, I got a hole here to go ahead and feed my blue and black wire through. As you can see, got those wires there. Great. Flip it up. This is my orange and my white. I'm thinking those are right anyway. And now we can go ahead and proceed to get our wire management taken care of up top here. Close. Very good. And tuck this guy back into there like that. Just so you can have a look. Got everything routed back pretty much how it was. Down through there, and then these guys down through there, and this plugged in. So everything should match up at the bottom and underneath. Shouldn't be a problem there. We'll gently close our lid, and we'll take a look at finishing off securing our hinge down, which is going to require, as before, a screw there and a screw there on both sides. And of course, don't forget the little plastic sticky tabs that go over there for cosmetic reasons. Okay, we'll flip this right over back where we were, open it up once more. Now that our hinge is nice and secure, and we're going to go ahead with our touchpad. Our palm rest really is what's going to be going on here next. Okay, so we have our 2 ribbon cables here. This will always be fun, huh? Plugging these back in, especially at the angle I'm at. There's one. And there's the other. And now we have another ribbon cable. We'll kind of set this on here a little bit, and these pins into place around the hinges first. Before I go any further, I'm going to stop right here. You see, I haven't even snapped this down. Right over here, you can't really see, but this is the power button. I'm going to go ahead, we're going to connect this power button. But here's a really good time to test this. Power it up, make sure we get video, and make sure the fan spins mainly, because if the fan doesn't spin, we don't want to tear this completely down again after you've totally assembled it. Okay, we're all ready to test fire this thing, plugged in, ready to go. You can see our fan right down in here. Let's see if we get that fan to spin up. When I press the power button, up, fan is spinning. Very good. And we have post. That's really what we want to see. So we can, it's fair enough to say we can go ahead and finish installing everything, and let's see what our temps are looking like here. All right, we'll just kind of snap this down. Okay, opposite from before, we want to go ahead and get our ribbon cables plugged in properly here. All right, there's that one. There's that one. And we will lay it down. Now remember, our screws still have to be showing here. You can see there's a screw there, screw there, screw there. Remember when we slid back the bezel, tighten down these screws, which snugs the keyboard into place. Pretty nifty little design on these keyboards. Okay, then we take our spudger and they give us little tabs here to kind of pull the keyboard frame down. See if I can get a better view of that. See how it pulls the entire frame down. I'm going to get it all the way down till it looks uniform. And there you go. That keyboard is installed. Now we go underneath. And now we have, of course, all of our cables and all that we have routed from underneath the palm rest there. We just snap these back down onto here and we'll be done with that. Yep, we can slide back in our DVD drive here, or is this Blu-ray? Let's see what this is. Nope, this is a DVD CD drive. Let's slide that in. Slide that baby in here. Oh, still got the screw in for that. Hard drive, of course, our SSD. Okay, so we'll just put the screws back in. Okay, we're booted up here nicely, and these temps right here running in the 50s, that is with no load, and I have air. I can feel air now coming through the vent here, which I did not feel before at all, so that's good. And usually the temperatures were getting up into the 80s just sitting here at idle, and I put it under load. It's not even reaching 70 C, so I would call this a job well done and a job finished. So hey, we just knocked out another one. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, why don't you head right down below here, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. That would be really awesome. I have much more computer repair videos coming your way. There's also a bell you can click for to get notifications for my videos. I really appreciate everybody's support. And as usual, everyone, until next time, see you soon.